Hello everybody, this is a special video for members at the British Museum. My name's Julia Farley and I'm the curator of the British and European Iron Age collections here at the museum. And we're here just to give you a little insight while the gallery is very quiet into some of our favourite pieces in the collection. And we really just wanted to thank you so much for your support for the museum in this challenging time. I wanted to show you two of my favourite objects. So what we see just here to my left are two fittings from shields. And so you have to imagine an object which might have been a little bit more like the size and shape of the complete object just to the other side of them. And that would have been made of wood. And attached to that, they put metal fittings. And often it's the metal fittings that are really, really decorative. And so these played a role in making the shield more robust for when you're fighting, but also in, this is your real kind of, Iron Age bling. And this is doing something empowering and protecting that shield above and beyond just the addition of a thin layer of metal, maybe something a little bit magical and a little bit special. These two, which are made of bronze and have these fabulous beaten repoussé designs, and this very, very thin sheet metal, they both have curious creatures on. If you look at the top, you can see a little kind of sad face with two swirling, spiralling eyes and a turned down mouth. And it's suggestive, perhaps even of a human face, perhaps of some kind of mythical creature, little points at the top, perhaps even suggesting ears. It could be a bird, perhaps even something like an owl. I often think that the mouth has a kind of fish-like element to it. So we have this mysterious creature here. And if you look at what would then be his kind of belly in the centre of that mount, some of those swirling shapes look a little bit like birds' heads. But on there, it's really just a suggestion. And to really meet some Iron Age birds, we have to look at the other shield boss just down below, which was found, again, dredged up from the River Thames near Wandsworth. That's where both of these were found. And these were found during the Victorian period, when a lot of dredging of the river was happening. And this shield most definitely shows birds. So you might think when you first look at it that you're just seeing swirling kind of tendrils or vines, but there is a little bit more going on than that. So if you look right down at the bottom of the shield, you're going to see a shape which is a kind of teardrop shape with a little kind of hook coming out of it. And that is the head of the bird. And the little dot in the centre is his eye, and that little hook coming out to the right is his beak. And then arching over and curling round, we see his body curling down into sort of swirling shapes and perhaps suggesting a tail. And over what would then be the shoulder or behind the neck of that bird, that if you imagine it like a clock face, you're looking at about 7 or 8 o'clock. What you're seeing there is the wing of this bird curling around behind his head, and then curling round down in front of his face. So at 6 o'clock on the imaginary clock face, we have a single webbed foot. And this design actually has rotational symmetry. So the design that I've tried to talk you through there, that's in the bottom half. So from 3 o'clock round to 9 o'clock on a clock face. And if you look on the top half of the shield, we see the same design again, but rotationally symmetric with that. And something about this which you can notice is if you look at the two wings of those birds, we see even more engraved designs. And this is actually another little design of a bird. So in the largest section, you see his head and a little curling beak again, and then curling up towards the top, we've got little webbed feet and wings coming out, and another webbed foot on the separate little section over to the right. And like a lot of Iron Age art, these are animals deconstructed, broken down into their component parts and executed in just a few really clean, simple lines, but that still gives us a sense of the real essence of those creatures. And particularly when we think about those tiny, tiny little engraved winged bird designs. I said that these weren't about making the shield physically stronger, but they must be doing something, these designs. Because nobody, in the sense of a field of battle, if you're actually fighting somebody, is going to ever notice that teeny, teeny, tiny little engraved bird there. That's something that you're only going to see if you're invited really up close and personal with this shield. If you're one of the people who's allowed to be cleaning it, polishing it, or who owns it, who's hanging it on the wall of their house. And so rather than being something which is just about showing off to the enemy, or just about physically making the shield stronger, I think there's a magical element to these designs. I think perhaps they're powerful, perhaps they're protective, and perhaps just having that symbol of that lovely little water bird on there is sending a message not just to the enemy or to the person who owns the shield, but out into the cosmos and into the wider world, and that these designs themselves have a magical element of protection for the people who use these shields in war.